Hey, what's going on? I'm Johnny Fisher from Still Here Podcast, the #1 podcast in the Central Valley. And I just want to talk to everybody real quick about Event Boost. Event Boost is an event coordinating company that works with nonprofits to help raise money for their cause. They do fundraiser dinners, comedy shows, casino nights, car shows, silent auctions, raffles, and so much more. From conception to cleanup, they take care of everything from alpha to omega. So if you're in the Fresno and Clovis area or any place in the Central Valley, hit these guys up at Official Event Boost on Instagram or eventboost.com for all your event needs.
And what's going on, everybody? Jose Cruz here. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. Hey, you guys got pests? Well, don't let those pests take control of you. Contact CSI Exterminators today for your free pest inspection. CSI Exterminators are proud to serve the residents in Fresno, California, Clovis, California area, all the above. They also service residents and business owners in Southern California, along the Central California coast, the Bay Area, and in Northern California. They provide residential, commercial, multifamily property pest control services. If you want a trustworthy, reliable, Fresno-based pest control company, you found the right place. Look up CSI Exterminators at CSIExterminators.com or follow them on Facebook at CSI Exterminators. You know what's so great about these guys is that they are a veteran-owned pest control company based in Fresno. So together they have more than 50 plus years of experience on destroying these pests. So you guys give them a call. Their information will be in the description below. The information has been on the bottom of the screen right here. So you guys hit these up and let's get into the show. Bye. What's going on, everybody? We are back at it with another a very special podcast today. Let me kind of set the ground for you guys watching and listening. So I'm scrolling through TikTok like we all do. We go down that rabbit hole, and then there's certain, content creators, certain pages that capture your attention. And this one particular post caught my attention of this young man. Handsome buck, I would say so myself, was talking about, he wanted to get on 100 plus podcasts this year. I'm like, all right, let me hit this man up. So just to jump right to it, today we have a special guest. We have my man, Hayden Cashion. Is your last name?
Hayden Cashion. Yeah, Cashion.
All right, cool. I got it, man. So yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the podcast, man. Thanks for your time, for jumping on in, man, and get ready to hand out some dope information, man. So let's kind of get into this, man. I really want to dive into all this, because to me this is important, man. Because social media, online, phones, all these apps are just nonstop busy every day, man. So let's kind of get to know you, how you started, where you started, and how old are you first, and kind of all. I know it's like an array of a lot of these questions, man. Because that's how I feel about social media. I'm so bogged down with like the craziness of it, and I think you have it down packed. So let's get to know you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Hayden Cashion. I was born and raised here in Ottawa, Ontario, which is in Canada. And when I was in university, I was in marketing. And while I was in marketing, I didn't know what I wanted to do within marketing because it's such a large discipline. And so I got an email by accident, and I say by accident is because it was for grad students at the time, and I was a third year student. I hadn't graduated yet. And so I got this email and it said, come join the digital marketing certification. Come try this program. And so I was like, this sounds interesting. This kind of sounds like exactly what I'm looking for, because I'm in marketing, but I don't know what I want to do. And this digital marketing thing sounds interesting. And I hadn't even really heard that much about digital marketing. And this was in 2017. And so I took the program, and every single week we learn about something different: Facebook ads, Instagram, app store optimization, Google Analytics, all this different stuff. And I was really enjoying it. And so I was like, you know what, this is kind of where my heart lies. So let me pursue this further as a student. So I took the certification, and that led to me getting an internship working in sports and running ads to drive ticket sales for CFL team, which is the Canadian version of the NFL here in Canada. And so trying to drive those ticket sales. And it was a really lucky environment for me because I was in a space where they had a large budget for each game, but the amount they'd allocate to digital advertising was low. And so they'd kind of push me in the corner, give me the budget, and then they'd go focus on, radio, newspaper, television, all that stuff where most of the money went. And they just gave me a budget and allowed me to just play around and learn. And that's where I honed my craft, was kind of like in the basement of this sports organization. I did that for 9 months. While I was doing that, I got introduced to a couple of restaurant owners, and I started taking on work from them as well. And I really like working with the restaurants because at the sports organization, I was like a small piece of a large puzzle.
Yeah.
But when I was working with the restaurants, I could really say, okay, organically on social media, let's do this. Let's set up our email funnels on the back end. Maybe if we do this in the restaurant and showcase it on social media, that will work. And I could really look at the whole picture. And that's what got me excited about kind of looking at consulting and being part of organizations where I could, impact it a little bit more. So then I got a job working at an agency, and I was leading a project for a television station. It was like a political news station. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to shift from TV first to website and social first. And so I was leading the project where, I had to interview all these stakeholders. I had to look at their whole organization, all the shows they produce in-house, all the ones that they take from other organizations, the podcast. It was a very big kind of mash of things, and try to organize it and shift it all. And so that project really gave me the confidence that I could start my own organization. And so off the back of that project, I started my own company in 2019, Cashion Marketing.
Nice.
And essentially all it does is it uses paid advertising to drive business results for clients in a multitude of industries. Mm-hmm. Specifically, we focus on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and Google ads for about 90% of our clients. TikTok is an emerging ad platform as well that we're looking to spend more time on. And that's essentially what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And then recently we've started a second business that's launching this Monday, actually, from a content standpoint.
Nice.
Where we're going to help train people to get the digital marketing skills that they need to then get employed, and actually connect them with employment opportunities on the back end. So we're partnering with tons of organizations that are going to hire people out of our program, because we see the skills gap of, what's taught in traditional school and what the employers actually need. And the landscape changes so quickly that the universities and colleges will never keep up. Mm-hmm. And so we've decided to kind of create a similar model as to the one that I took back in 2017 that allowed me to get a jump start in my career and try to help more people get jump starts in their career. And all day I get asked from business owners, do you know someone who'd be a good social media coordinator? Yeah. Do you know someone who'd be a good social media? It's like so hard to find right now, because if you're good at it, you get swiped up. So we want to help produce more of them so that these businesses can help, staff the organization. That's basically what I've been up to since 2017.
Man, dude, that seems like a lot. Because it seems like you've, you obviously knew what you wanted to do. How old are you again?
I'm 26.
26, dude. You started. Hell, I'm 41, bro. I'm finna be 41. And so
you look great, though.
I appreciate it, dude. I do what I can, but I like how you're so young and you have that drive and that motivation to really push the work, man. And I kind of think from the older guy standpoint, I see a lot of these young ones, do it for clout, do it for something like, I'm just trying to go viral, I'm just trying to go into this. But it just seems like from hearing you, you're taking this really serious. You're really diving into, this promotion. You're diving into social media. You're diving into marketing and branding and business and making money, And at the end of the day, man, I want to make money too. And, we all do, So let's now let's get into kind of how you're using your platform now to start helping yourself out. And like you had mentioned, you want to train the next wave of entrepreneurs and people that want to start their own business, digital marketing. How are you using social media now to get that attention? Because it got my attention, because here we are, we about a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something like that. I DM'd you and took you up on your offer, man. And so how are you starting to see the benefits of using this type of business, this type of job to help you and benefit you and your company?
Mm-hmm. And I'll take it a step back before we dive directly into it. One thing I often tell people is it's a good idea to build an audience even before you know how you're going to use it. Yeah. Because for me, I actually started documenting my journey back in 2017-ish, late 2017-ish, when I started the sports organization, and trying to build up my following, because I didn't know how I was actually going to transact on it. But now that I'm getting a better sense of that, it's nice to already have it instead of now be like, okay, how do I get it? And so that's what I would lead with is, you don't always have to know how you're going to use it, but it's always smart to just build it up. So then the day you figure out how you're going to use it, you already have it.
Dude, I like that. Man.
Yeah. And so for me, it's funny, my personal brand, 100% of the content doesn't actually push to my businesses. So a lot of my content on my personal brand, like I'm talking to content creators, or I'm talking to, different people in different spaces, sometimes just talking to entrepreneurs generally. But the only way I can monetize them currently is to pull business owners into my paid ads agency. Mm-hmm. It's a very small slice of my actual following, but I'm building my following for future executions. And one of the things that really pushed me over the edge to do this certification program is because now I've built up a TikTok following of a lot of people that are interested in marketing and digital marketing. And so I see that I have that audience, and I get asked often, do you have a course? Do you do mentorship? Things of that nature. Yeah. And so I see that I have the leverage that I can just kind of open the gate, and hopefully some of them will come into this program right off the bat. Yeah. And once again, that's just one way to leverage it. In the future, if I decide to start a podcast, having a group of followers already that are ready to go into it, or if I want to do a speaking engagement, or if I want to have a digital product, if I want to write a book, if I want to do anything, it's an audience that you're constantly building, and then you're monetizing as you go in different verticals. An interesting thing that I do tell a lot of my clients too is like, they'll be like, oh, my business is really geographically landlocked from who I can service. It's a local business. Yeah. And so TikTok won't work for me because the content, you can't control where it goes. It could be popping off in Dubai, and I can only serve the local market here in Fresno, California, right? And what I often tell them is like, I would really consider creating a vertical of business, or two verticals of business that can be scaled. I have a really good friend of mine who owns a local driveway sealing company, and he started on TikTok like a year before me. And by the time I started, he already had 100,000 followers. Wow. And what he was doing on TikTok was showing his driveway sealing stuff, but he was really teaching people how to build side hustles. This is how you do like a gutter cleaning business. You go to like the dollar store and you buy these products, then you go and you charge this exact amount, and it should take you this long to do it. And then here's how you upsell at the door. Like, he was teaching all these side hustle kind of tactics that he's used in his business. And obviously using the driveway sealing is the main thing that he's showcasing. And he had 100,000 followers, but I'm sure 99.9% of them weren't local. And so what did he do? He started building out affiliate links to all these products that he's recommending. Okay. And now he's putting together courses, how to do a driveway sealing business, how to do a window cleaning business, how to do a gutter cleaning business, how to do a Christmas lights business, that he's going to start selling in that direction too. He has a big partnership with one of the service-based CRM companies. And every time his referral code's used, he gets a nice chunk of money that's becoming a real revenue stream. And so even though he had a localized business, he built this TikTok following, and then he built other verticals out of it. Yeah. So it's just like extra cash flow on top of it. Plus it obviously advertises locally to some extent.
I mean, that to me, that makes so much sense, because like you said, you can't, I'm only built here for Fresno, California, thinking about the larger picture. I have a friend of mine who's a local guy, owns a coffee shop, but it's like, he doesn't ship. From what I know he doesn't ship all over. What are other ways for him to like market him and get his brand out and still, that's what makes social media so dramatic, so huge, man. The opportunities are really endless because there are no excuses to not create something, and I feel like when it comes down to the right person with the right mindset, like talking to you, hearing you being so young to really dive in this, I feel like you're about to open up a new world of promotion and understanding of what social media promotion and branding can be, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like the one thing that a lot of people miss is they get addicted to the views. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I almost disrespect the views. I don't even care about the views because I know over my lifetime on social media, like we'll get the views, like there'll be enough views. It's going to be fine. I'm much more concerned about what's the actual, business metric I'm trying to drive. And then what's almost more of the personal metric I'm trying to drive. So on a business side, it's like, okay, how many business owners are inquiring to my ads agency? Right. And that's a metric nobody can see publicly. Right. Yeah. And then my new metric in my new company will be, okay, how many people are inquiring to the certificate program? And that's once again, a metric that no one can see, but it's like, for easy numbers, if I get one business owner, from what I do on TikTok, and they become monthly reoccurring, mm-hmm. which my business is, as long as they become monthly reoccurring, it actually covers all my video costs. So in all of the content that I ever put out, as long as I get one person that reoccurs, I'm actually profitable on what I spend on the video production.
Wow.
Let alone everything else on top of it, right?
Yeah.
And so in my specific business, now that would be different if you're selling t-shirts, because t-shirts aren't monthly reoccurring. T-shirts are also cheaper than marketing services. And so every business has different dynamics. But if you're building a following to monetize it in some, outside business, that's the metric that actually matters, right? And so for me, I don't need to, I have no videos with 1 million views. I've one video with like 600,000. And then I think everyone else is under 500K. And I probably only have 10 that are above 100,000. And I put over 300 videos.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I understand that I'll never get the views, but if I'm trying to convince a business owner to work with me for their marketing services, it's not going to be a piece of content that scales to the masses. It's going to be a piece of content that's very almost like intellectual, that they're like, oh, this is the person I want to work with.
Yeah.
And so I understand, like, I'm not playing for the views. I'm playing for the business metric on the back end. And then on a personal side, like, I really like to try to inspire people, right? So of course I'm telling information to get business opportunities, but I also like to try to tell my story and inspire people that are, a similar age demographic to me and want to do certain things in their life by just almost like embodying it.
Yeah.
And talking about the experiences I've gone through and trying to, reply back and trying to just do anything to help people, because for me, like, that's the most fulfilling part. And so I try to play to both those metrics, but neither of those metrics actually involve like getting 1 million views on a video.
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed, you're right. Cause you said, I love what you said, how you don't care about the views and you ignore that, and a lot of people, focus on the views and the likes and the follows and and all the subscribers and all that, man. How is it important or not important, but what am I trying to ask? Is it, when all people want to do is go viral, right? All people want to do is hit it big. Notice me. Is it safe to go viral off one video? Or is it like, I don't know if I'm even asking that right, but
I get it.
Going viral.
It's kind of like if you're a music artist and your first song goes crazy, you have to be able to actually follow it up, right? So if you have a viral moment out of luck, if you're actually talented, you'll build that into a full career. But if you're not talented, you're going to the world will move on. And a great example is like Post Malone. Like, he went viral off this song called White Iverson that I believe just put out on SoundCloud. And he woke up and a couple big artists like tweeted it randomly. And now he's like charting, one of the biggest artists in the world. But then on the other side, there's 1 million artists who have put out, a track gone viral and we've never heard of them again.
Yeah. And
so I don't think going viral is actually the dictation of like good or bad. It's what do you do after that?
Yeah.
And that, that'll prove out. Like, you can't hide. You're going to put out other content and it's going to flop or it's going to be incredible. And we'll see.
Yeah. And I think I'm looking at your content. It's not like, again, one thing I love about your content is you're consistent, man. And I love your, like the look of it. I like the vibe, man, because it has a consistency about it, man. Your quality, again, like I said earlier, is amazing. How do you find yourself being consistent? Ideas? Where do you, what zone do you go in to make sure that you're not worried about going viral or the views, or you're not, thinking about that, but where's your mindset on staying consistent and putting out content that actually matters and that actually attracts attention? Where's your mindset on, accomplishing all that?
So for me, my initial goal was to put out 60 pieces of content a month, so 2 a day. But I knew I couldn't do that myself because I have to run my company. And so for me, from day one, I knew I was going to have somebody that's shooting the content and ideally also posting the content.
Yeah. And
so for me, my actual goal was to minimize my time involvement while hitting 60 videos a month that obviously I was proud of. And so that's actually why my content shot how it shot. It wasn't any like, we didn't think about it. I just couldn't selfie video. I don't have the time to like do that stuff. And so for me, it was much more of like a strategic play because all I do is show up for 4 hours bi-weekly and show up. I go in my kitchen, like they come to the house. And so literally it's a 4-hour block. bi-weekly, and then I essentially never touch it again.
Wow.
And so that's how I had to do it. What I basically do is on a daily basis, they'll send me content, what we call drafted. So it'll be like the TikTok screen before you click the final post button.
Yeah.
And so they'll send me a screen recording so I can see the caption, the cover, and then they'll click on the video. It'll start playing so I can hear the song against the video. And I'll give them any feedback that I want. So change the caption to this, change the cover to this, and change the song to this if I want. But that's all I do, because obviously it has to be from my own words.
Yeah.
So we do that part. But other than that, like, it's 8 hours of actual shooting. There's a little bit every single day of just editing the caption. And then from an ideation standpoint, what I've tried to start doing now is just in natural life. Like, if we have a great conversation right now, I may, after the podcast, write down 3 points that I'm like, oh, he brought these out of me. I want to make pieces of content on them. Right.
Yeah.
And even right now, we have a videographer right there. So what he's going to do is he's writing down timestamps of certain things that I'm saying, and he's going to clip it. And the reason I really like doing it with podcasts is because then we don't even have to think of ideas. You're going to ask great questions. I'm going to say things that will create new content concepts that we haven't thought about. You're going to post the content. We're going to chop it. We're going to post the content. And then also we're now going to have a list of ideas, because the videographer is writing down all the ideas that we can then go shoot unique pieces off of, let alone sometimes we'll create 3 or 4 videos off of each idea. And so it systemizes the ideation process. So then you have no thinking involved.
Yeah, I like that, man. You're right. Because I know I found that a lot of my conversations I have, especially when we're discussing these podcasts, because initially I have gotten a few people we've had on there like, hey, what questions do you have? Can you give me a list of, I'm like, nah, we normally don't do that. We fly out the seat of our pants, because that's where I feel like the natural authenticity comes off, especially because I've never met you in my life. I only met you or seen you on TikTok, man. And you said, shoot over to Instagram, and I listened to you. So I went to your Instagram and I followed you and I DM'd you, and it came to where that's where you get authentic conversations, man, because you're into something that I'm into, especially at my age, and I'm into something you're doing, because it's just, again, there's no age bracket to it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It really just depends how bad you want to really do something with your life, man, whether it's starting off young or older. And hearing what you're saying, man, it's really inspiring, man, because every conversation that we've had on the show, man, it all came off just following the vibe and the flow of our conversation. I can tell if I ever met you in person, dude, we'd hit it off.
100%.
Despite our age, it's like, who cares? I'm 40 years old, man. I don't care. You're 26. I'm like half your age already, more than half.
But honestly, the world is aging down.
Yeah.
Like people have never acted younger in their lives. Like, you see, the most influential business people, they don't wear suits.
Facts.
Like, they're in sneakers and jeans and t-shirts, and like the whole age is becoming younger, because also, like, parents are more like friends with their kids these days because of social media, because they want to be with the times, they want to be hip, and they're being influenced by it. Like, a lot of adults are on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And what's happening there is they're being influenced by young culture.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, one of the best compliments I got back when I was in high school was like this kid that was 3 years younger than me. And he just told me, he was like, Hayden, like, the thing I like about you is you don't treat anyone different based on their age. And it made me realize that, like, I don't really like see age. I've never thought about it. I just see people, and if we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. But like, who cares? You know what I mean? And I think the world's shifting to that as well.
No, I agree with you 100%. Because growing up, man, I was one of those guys that was crazy. I was the center of the attention. I was out there, man. And I have 3 kids. Me and my wife, we have 3 kids of our own, and we have a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and my son is 12, 2 girls and a boy. And those kids know trends. They know things that I don't even know about, especially as much as I'm on social media. But yet I have so much in common with my kids, because I do love what they love. My daughters love BTS, all that K-pop. I'm into that stuff because of them, so when they have it on, I'm vibing with them. I'm they see me Dude, back in the day, man, I used to tear it up on the dance floor, man, and I still do, But I even like mess around, twerk, and do all this fun stuff, man. Because even before them, I was always like that, man. So even though I'm 40, I know I don't act my age, and I feel like, that's what's keeping me young. That's what's keeping me, like you said, hip, to these cultures. Because again, man, it's what you're putting out as a person, as a human being. It's what you're putting out, man, and what you put in essentially comes out. So if you're putting
100%.
in great content, if you're putting a great influence, you're putting in something that's actually keeping you motivated, man. I mean, again, there are no limits to what we can do, especially as creators, So for me to set the standard, for myself, only for my kids to see, man, I know they're going to shoot past that standard, because they see a vision, a goal on creating content. My daughter, one of my daughters is an artist, and she taught herself how to draw a year ago, and she taught herself Photoshop like in a week. And, it's like, how old are you? You're 12 and you're learning all this. And, and so the work she's putting out, man, she's starting to learn, trends. She's starting to learn, types of things that interest her, only to promote herself and branding, So one thing I love about you and your social media is that you always have a topic to talk about that can connect with an audience every way possible, especially she said, you don't see no age, you don't see none of that. How important is it to connect with your audience, even if they're younger, older, if they don't have any idea or any clue of, video production, anything like that. How important is it for you to connect with them to get your message across?
It's the only thing that matters, right? Like, I think, and that comes down to what I would deem as energy, right? Like, I think when you're on video, you can say stuff like very proper and very, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you can be an absolute goof, or you can be somewhere in the middle. And I think that energy is something that's undeniable that people just connect with, right? And I think that also leaves the lasting impression, right? They see you, but then they also kind of feel you, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's through your voice or how you look into the camera or different things like that. And I think those subconscious levels are the things that really leave like the lasting impact and create like what I would deem as like deeper love or more fandom or however you want to word it. But that depth of connection is so important, right? Like, I think on social media, people are so focused on width because we see it in our face. It's how many followers, the width of your audience.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times you don't see the depth, right? And the depth is much more like, hey, if I have, 10,000 followers in California, let's say, and I go to California, how many of them are going to drive to meet me if I say, hey, I'm doing a meetup at this park?
Yeah.
That's depth, right? And so I think that is the metric that you obviously can't measure it, but that's what really matters when it either comes to impact or business results or whatever you're actually trying to achieve is the depth variable as well. And so with my audience, like, honestly, I've had a lot on my plate recently, so I've been doing it less. But for the first probably like 4 or 5 months of TikTok, I don't think I missed a reply.
Yeah.
I think I replied to every single comment, and I still try to jump in there every 4 or 5 days and like go back to my last videos and get back to as many as I can.
Yeah.
But that is actually the secret sauce, is like when you put out content, if you just leave it there, you're missing all the value. Because when somebody comments, if you comment back with like a thoughtful response, and also like even the other day, like somebody replied, they said something and then I replied back, and then they were like, is this really you or someone on your team?
Wow.
And then but then I followed them, and then I was like, I just followed you, DM me. You know what I mean? And like just doing fun stuff like that to just mess around with people and build real depth, real connection. Like there was a guy who asked a question on my TikTok, how it goes into like a question box.
Yeah.
I didn't want to answer it like on TikTok because it was very specific. And I was just like, I don't want to spend time answering this specific question on my TikTok.
Yeah.
But I then went to his video because I couldn't talk to him. So I went to his video and I commented, hey, I just sent you a DM on Instagram. And I went to his Instagram and left him a voice note of like exactly what the answer to his question is. So just trying to like go out of your way and like make sure that people know that you actually care about them, you actually appreciate them following you and taking the time to leave a comment. I think I always say it's such a massive opportunity because no one's doing it. If everyone was commenting back, then it wouldn't mean as much. But like so much, like 99% of people that get good views don't reply.
Wow.
And so if you're the 1%, you just almost take all that like depth. They're always going to like you more than everybody else.
Well, that's setting like a real connection. Like you said, that's what we were talking about, being relatable and going out your way to make sure that you appreciate. Because really what drives me, especially because me and my buddy started this show maybe about 4 months ago, and probably like mid to late November, we started Still Here. And the support we've gotten has been amazing, man, especially being so young. And what we always did is make sure we comment back, DM back, follow back, show love, man. And I feel like that's kind of, not kind of, but I just feel that's the vibe you put off, man, because again, it's connection, real connection, over social
100%.
media. Over social media, anybody can connect in real life, but, or for the most part, almost can. But when it comes to social media, well, like you said, that person asks, is this really you? Is it a bot? Is it this or is it that? And to go out your way and to say, I'm gonna go follow. I'm gonna go message you on Instagram, follow you just to show you that, hey man, I got you. I appreciate your comment. Reciprocate the love. And to me, that's important, man, because that's what we're starting to do here. We're not start, but that's what I made sure we wanted to do was reciprocate the love. And always put it out, because we can put a content out, people like, share, whatever, but when you go out your way to make it about them, that's how I feel, we can grow, content creators, podcasters, because one thing I love about what you said, you're setting the groundwork, you're setting the foundation, for the next project, like you said, starting a podcast or doing something, because what you're setting up is experience, and one thing I'll say the one thing I hate, especially on social media, is the redundancy of motivation, the redundancy of if you do this or you do this, but like you haven't experienced it. You're just repeating what the last guy said, but different in your own way. And you can tell by, I can read people, I can read eyes, I can read facial expressions. And it's like, man, you haven't experienced shit in your life. Who are you to tell me this? And so one thing I love about
100%.
what you said is that I'm doing the groundwork before I start a podcast, because I want some that I've experienced to actually talk about real experiences, so I can talk to real people that are in that situation or coming from or about to walk into it, to say, this is what I did. And it gives a relatable, gives it a relatable experience, and that's the vibe I get from you. Because overall, we're talking about your website, your business, your organizations, and your experiences, man. It's for being so young, man. I admire that. I look to that,
I appreciate that.
So let's kind of get into your, just your mindset as far as like you said, you take out 3 topics of this, and this, how do you find yourself to where you can see, I'm thinking about a particular group of people, business owners, content creators, this is specifically for them. Do you have like people's interests at heart to say, I hope, because I don't know. I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is, because again, like I said, you create great content, man. Is it just something to put out, or is it just something like, no, this is intentionally to motivate, somebody because I've been through it or I've experienced it? Is that something you think about, or you don't, or you don't know you do? If that makes sense.
It's funny, like literally all I do is while I live my life, if something that I think in either the marketing world or a personal conversation or anything is impactful to me, I just put it in my list. And then when it comes to shoot day, I just make a video on it. So it's intentional because I put it on the list because I was like, oh, that's good. But it's also no longer thought past that. Yeah. It's not like, okay, I'm really trying to impact this group right here, and this will be the one. And like, I think for me, like, I just know that I'm going to put out so much across my life that what I'm trying to say will get there, right? If I'm trying to say these 4 macro points, I'm going to put out 1,000 pieces on this angle and 1,000 pieces on this over my life. And so I'm not concerned about this one video really doing it. I'm more just like, hey, we're going to shoot it. Like most of my videos, it's funny, I've been telling the team, like, I want to set up another camera that shows how quickly we shoot our videos. So maybe a 30-second video on my TikTok, we'll shoot it in 60 seconds. And that's just because I may pause in between a couple sentences. I may mess up a word and re-say a sentence. But like we shoot our videos extremely quick. We did a shoot for the new company on Monday, and we shot 30 TikToks in 2.5 hours. And a lot of them are just like within a minute to 2 minutes, we shoot it, and then we'll set up somewhere else. And it's just because like it's thought out, like I said, in the sense of like, okay, this is something I want to say, but past that, I'm just like, it'll do what it's going to do.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very intentional, man. And I like that, dude, because excuse me, when it comes to like this show, man, Still Here podcast, I want to be intentional, man. And we want to be something relatable, so I like how you take the time for that, because one thing I want to start doing, this is where I feel like I'm not really disciplined in, is taking a few hours out of the day to shoot content, to shoot something, to have something to post,
Yep.
And so how important is it to have post on Instagram Reels and, Reels on TikTok, man? Is it crazy important to be consistent? Are the algorithms true? Are the algorithms what they say people say? Because is consistency a key, or is it like if you put out a hitter, like a banger video, you're good? I mean, maybe explain the consistency of that and the algorithm of Instagram and TikTok.
It's funny. Like, I've seen every single case happen. I've seen people that are very consistent have success. I've seen people that go off the grid for 6 months, come back, and their next video does very well. And so for me, I almost just succumb to the algorithm, where it's like the algorithm's going to do what the algorithm's going to do. I focus on what I can control.
Yeah.
And once again, I focus on I almost think of what I put out as my life's work, right? Like, do I want this piece of content in my body of work? So it's much more like an artist putting together an album. It's like, okay, I want these songs on the album, even though I know these two are the hits and they're going to drive the ticket sales and they're going to do everything. I need this in the world. I want to put this out to the world. And so for me, it's much more of like, okay, I understand that we want to keep it high level on TikTok. I understand that we don't want to have any, spaces for air in the TikToks. They want to be very punchy. I understand we want to change the camera angles quickly to hold attention. But I'm not going to like, for instance, I always say, like, if I want 1 million views, we'll go to the highway and I'll just run out into traffic and try to dodge some cars. That'll go viral. That'll go super viral. It's not hard. My brother just got a puppy. I'll go to his house and film the puppy. It's not hard to get views. Anyone can get views. But if I do any of those two actions, are they going to drive my business? Are they going to impact humans on such a level that if I show up to a city, they'll come to get an autograph? This is like the kind of the deeper level strategy work that a lot of people fail to care about, just because those metrics are in front and center. They just see views, they just see likes, they just see follow count, and that's all they focus on, but they haven't planned past that. And so, I forget what the question is, but
no, I think you're right on it, because we're talking about like the algorithm, the importance of being consistent, and or finding the right content, because I do that too, man. I get lost in when I'm talking, like, what are we talking about, because I feel like I can get all over the place, man. But you're right, man, because it's easy to do that. One of the things I can't, because I deleted TikTok for a while, man, because I got irritated and annoyed about all the oh no's and all the stupid, viral, the kid dancing in the mirror and everyone's just doing that. And I can't stand that. And so what I find myself doing is blocking all that. I block all those chicks with their titties hanging out, and, all this stuff's just, we're so inundated with all that crap, man. And I want it to fall on a profile like yours, man. It's encouraging, man. That's all I want the algorithm to show is creativity, photographs, and stuff that I like, that I'm interested in. Again, it's easy to do something dumb, like you said, go out in the middle of the street, or start a corgi page, because I want to get a corgi. And I'm almost gonna be guilty of I'm gonna be a hypocrite and start a corgi page, but I don't know, it's easy to do that.
But for a corgi page, that's the goal, right? I'm talking more like my own business. The corgi is not going to drive my marketing agency. And so for you, if you want to drive the podcast, you might have a separate page for that. But if you want to drive the corgi business, right, and then get brand sponsorships and do all this fun stuff to monetize it, that's awesome. It's just that's all I'm saying is you have to understand where it's leading. Yeah,
you're right. Because one thing, again, to get back to what I was saying, man, get on my soapbox, is I can't stand, I really can't stand that. I mean, we're men, we check out those hot chicks that have the big boobs, but after a while, it's the same. You're scrolling, it's the same. That's why I find myself blocking them, man. And I'm really honest about what men deal with. And, you know, that's what we talk about here on the show. And even my wife's right here listening. She's like, you do what?
Yeah.
You know? And so, but we're real honest about that, man. And that's where I feel like I guess I don't want to say darker side, but the other side of the coin of TikTok is all that. But on the other side is like, you could actually use it for a great tool, you know, something that you could benefit your business. Like, I come from the news world, the news industry, where you had to buy ads on TV, but no one's watching TV no more. No one's watching news no more. You can get all that from your phone. And the direction is like, why are we not jumping on that boat? And it seems like for the internet and social media to be out this long, we're still, the news station, all these other people are still stuck in that Stone Age world, which is literally, man, Facebook came out when I was 26, 28 or something like that, man. Social media, it was weird. Internet, I saw internet come out in my generation. I was born in 1981, bro. And it's crazy to see where I was in the generation, the world before in internet, social media. It's like, what in the hell did we do before then? And so now that we're in it, now that we're still seeing, I still believe we're in its, not infants, but like teenage, you know, stages of it, because again, it's so easy to go do something dumb. It's so easy to start something, you know, whatever. But one thing I want to use social media, especially TikTok, Instagram Reels, because really that's where it's at. You know, Facebook is really for a lot of old folks. You know, a lot of old folks just share the weird pixelated memes or whatever, because my dad does that stuff too, man. You know, but to really, it's so funny because I don't know where, like, I don't see where Facebook's growing and stuff. Maybe I'm missing it too, you know, but I feel like for our next question, our next topic, man, what happened to your Instagram account the first time? You know, speaking of, because I remember you said you lost it and then now you started a new one. What happened?
It was so brutal. Like literally one day I just log on and the screen just goes white. Wow. And it just says you've been deactivated or you've been disabled. And I'd seen this like I've been in the ad industry, like I said, since 2017. So I was like, okay, like accounts get disabled, it happens. And every time I've reached out to support for like an ad account specifically, so not like a page, but like an ad account, we've always been able to resolve it, you know, for the most part. So I was like, all right, I'll just go through that process. And literally like I filled out every single form a million times. I had like the expert guys that I know in the space telling me, oh yeah, fill out this form. I'll talk to my guy at Facebook. And like, I did everything. And it got to the point where literally Instagram sent me emails. And I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of like, hey, COVID has us so short staffed. We cannot get around to this matter right now. We're very sorry. And just essentially like after 2.5 months of trying, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to build a new Instagram. Weirdly excited about it too, because this is the thing that I've realized is like my old Instagram, I had it in high school. And so I have tons of people that I follow that followed me and all that stuff from high school. And like, as much as you want to evolve out of that, you know, I'm man enough to admit, like, I always would be like, I don't want to annoy them. I don't want to put out tons of marketing stuff. They just know me as like the guy that was in high school, you know, they don't care about my marketing stuff. But now that I lost it, I'm so much like, okay, this is a brand new channel. I can reinvent myself however I want. And so now I'm coming at it much more strategically. The interesting part about starting a new account too, at least for me, is that I'm much more open to just having it suck because I want to learn. And so we're starting to post reels twice a day on my account. And one thing I'm noticing, at least on my account, is every time we post it to the grid, it shows to my followers and gets no views because I only have about 400 followers now. Yeah. But if we post it not to the grid, maybe 75% of the time it does well. Like it'll get like 2,000 to 4,000 views. And I, like I said, I only have 400 followers. So that's something that we're like, okay. And I told my guy right before this call, I was like, okay, we're going to keep posting till Sunday and see if this trend continues. Cause we do one off grid, one on grid. Yeah. And if this trend continues, now I know you don't post reels on your grid if this continues, right? We're going to start messing with hashtags a bit more. And the cool thing about doing this experiment on myself is this also becomes insights I can use in my business for my clients. Yeah. Okay. You don't post reels here. You do this here. And then even with the certificate page now that we're starting to post on Monday, we're going to be posting 4 times a day. We're going to be changing up stylistically some stuff that I haven't done, trying some other stuff. Yeah. Once again, more data to understand like better for clients. but yeah, no, lost the Instagram. It sucked. But at the end of the day, like I said, like I just try to look at everything as like, there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's literally just looking at obstacles in your life and seeing them as opportunities. So I try to look at losing my Instagram as an opportunity to reinvent myself even better than before. And then one thing that's very interesting is I always say, if you're a content creator, you have an excuse to be really happy, because outside of a couple horrendous things that could happen in your life, everything else is a content opportunity.
Yeah.
I lose my Instagram. I can't wait one of these days for to be on stage and somebody asks a question and for me to be like, oh, well, let me tell you what happened when I lost my whole Instagram and my business went to zero overnight and how I rebuilt myself. And now it becomes leverage to inspire. And so you can have a perspective change on things. And then all of a sudden now I'm fired up. I lost it. I'm like, what a great opportunity. So many people don't have this. Like, you just start to trick yourself and storytell to yourself in a different way.
That is so dope. You're right. Because one thing me and my wife, it was so funny. We were talking about, me and my wife were talking about this, because she had started her own little Instagram and she didn't want to tell nobody about it. She wanted to build it organically, you know, and it's something like the simple life. Was it called Simple Life at Home or something like that? Because we've been married. This May would be 17 years. She's been a stay-at-home mom.
Amazing.
We've homeschooled our kids, man. And so she's been wanting to document that. And a lot of people before COVID were asking her about homeschooling, what to do, how to do it, because you know it's kind of a thing. You know, so when COVID hit, everyone was doing it. They were forced to do it, and so she thought the idea to do her own. But you're right, because a friend of mine is starting his own Instagram, a different one from zero, but he's like, I'm not telling. He told me about it, but he said that he don't want none of his family members on it. Nobody know, but he wants to build it organically, man. And I feel like you said, when I had saw that, you know, I thought, man, this actually, because my mind thought you have a good opportunity to start over, you know, to actually know and be intentional with it. Like you said, you had old friends from high school, people that just know you as Hayden, you know, but not businessman, social media content creator now. And it's like, you don't want to just inundate people with just people like, you know, it's like, I'm just annoying them, but you want to actually reach people that actually want to see that content, you know, and that's the vibe I get, you know. And so I like that, because you fired me up, because I get real like, you know, because you said there's going to be a day. I like how you think. There's going to be a day where I'm going to be on the stage. You already like, you're speaking it, you know. There's going to be a day where I'll be like, I remember I started over. And that was the best thing that happened to me, man, because it gave me a new, fresh start. And what I did for my social, I deleted all my old pictures that all my stuff, all my content on my Instagram the other day. And I posted a picture today, and it's just starting over. I really want to start over, man. And this was actual personal one too, like yours. And I'm actually thinking about starting over, you know, because I really want that challenge to grow. I really want to connect with people that actually want to see and like my work, and connect with those that just, you know, do the same things we do. And I don't want, you know, you have 1,000+ followers, you only get 30, 40 likes. It's like, come on, you know, like, then don't follow me. You know, I'm that guy, you know? And so again, I'm not looking for the likes but you know, I'm the guy that's always going to support people. All my friends, their pictures, you know, them eating their bowl of menudo or pho, whatever. I'll like the picture, you know, business guys, people that post anything. I'll like it to show support. I'm that guy. And, you know, so one thing I like about what you said, hey, I'm starting over, you know, using the obstacle as an opportunity. You know, and that's all I see. That's really kind of, I don't know if you know a little bit about me, man, but I had gotten COVID back in August, and it was double pneumonia, COVID, and it tore my lungs up, man, and it literally took my life. And then when I recovered, I was released. A week and a half later, I went back to the hospital with bacterial double pneumonia. You know, so back to back, my lungs were annihilated, and doctors were telling me, it's like, I don't know how the hell you're still alive, man. And, you know, like one of my doctors like, how the fuck are you still alive? He told me that, but he was laughing.
Wow.
And I'm like all oxygened up, man. And I had a lot of downtime to think about starting over, man, because everything that I thought was important wasn't. Everything that I thought what I needed wasn't. All I wanted was to be home with my family and my kids and not ignore them because I'm hustling and grinding and doing my thing, you know. And now that I was home, I couldn't walk from my bedroom to my living room because my body was shot. I lost like 55 pounds, all my muscle mass. I lost everything
Wow.
a part of me. I couldn't take showers. I couldn't eat. I didn't eat for 3 months. And so I had a lot of starting over to do. The reset button happened on my life. And I had a new opportunity to start over. And I'm using that now to start over, especially being right by my family, my wife, my kids, my business, this new show we're doing, and really being intentional with business decisions. Because when I started my business 5-6 years ago, and it was kind of a prolonged thing, man. I was always afraid to go out and do something, man, because I just thought, I don't know if I'm good enough. But when I finally started the ball rolling, man, I had 15, 20, 30 clients, social media agency. And it's like, I got tired of all the trends. I got tired of doing what everyone was doing. And I found something for me. And when I finally found it, it was taken away. And then when COVID happened and all that. So after the fact, now that I'm going back, because what I'm hearing from you, like you said, you lost your social media and you're starting over. That's the first thing that came to my mind, was starting over. And, now that I'm starting over personally with my social media and this new show and my business, I'm really intentional on what I do and who I have in my life, especially when it comes to business, when I'm getting paid, man, because I don't care about money, man. It's easy for me to make money. It's easy for me to go get 20, 30 more clients, man. But I want to be intentional. I want to be purposeful with every decision now, man, because I'm 40 years old, and I want to be around for my kids and, make memories, great memories. And so I just think talking to you being so young, man, 26 years old, I have these mindsets. I mean, I wish I was 26 right now with this, but to hear you have that mindset, dude, it's encouraging, man. It gives me a lot of, just gives me a lot of encouragement to know that there are young people out there, man, young folk that are just killing it like you, bro. And I love what you're doing with your business, your content. I've looked at your website. You have a dope website, man. I'm like,
Appreciate that.
I've done a lot of, looking into what you're doing, man. And, to kind of like ask you to kind of go into the next part of this, where do you see yourself like in 5-10 years, your business, yourself, your social media, your content? You gave a little inkling of like, someday I'm going to be on the stage speaking about this. You see yourself as a speaker. Where do you see yourself 5-10 years?
I think, I don't know where I see myself. And I don't know if it's because I just don't think that far, or it's because I understand the world's going to be so different.
Yeah.
But I definitely see building some businesses, then evolving out of that to just much more of like a personal brand. And that's how I monetize. And that's how I live as well. So speaking, being in like a movie or being in a show and writing a book and just doing whatever I can do to kind of spread what I've learned from living regular life, but also building companies to help other people, because that's where I find the most fulfillment. It's funny, like helping other people is really what fulfills me. And that's the reason I love running the paid ads agency, is because when you run paid ads, you can see on the back end the value you're driving. It's not like if you're doing just social media management and it's unclear how many people came from your social media and actually did the business action that you're trying to drive for the company. I love paid ads because I could go into a meeting and be like, hey, look, we spent this was your total cost. This is what it drove. This is where the future is looking. And I really feel great because I'm like, look, I'm helping these people. And so I think that same purpose is going to manifest in a million different directions over my life. But I'm kind of always trying to be in the moment. Like right now, I just love building the TikTok. I'm interested to see how this certificate program works. We put in so much time on it. So I have a feeling it could do very well up front. But if it doesn't, that's going to mean that I have to put a lot more time in, tweak with it some more. So it's tough for me to figure out where I'm going to go because a lot of things are unclear of how they're going to work out. So I don't, if the certificate pops off, then I might just shut down the agency, go all in there. But if it doesn't, then I might go all in on the agency and pull people from that project over. And like, so I'm very much like, I understand my higher purpose is really just to help people. And that's where I find fulfillment. I think that's a blessing, right? Like giving to others is what gives to me, truly. But I don't have full clarity on like, oh yeah, I'll be living in this house, driving this car, working at this place. Like I know some people have that right now, but for me, I kind of like to discover it as I go. I'm very intuitive. So I think when I feel it, I'll know when to make the move. And even with TikTok, like that was something that I was intuitively just was like, you know what, let's go all in on TikTok. And luckily when Instagram shut down, I had enough of a TikTok following to help me like continue growing my business.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, I don't know exactly where I'm going to be, but I know the purpose is definitely to help as many people as possible.
Well, I definitely, just you saying that, I can have at least a vision of where you're going to be and what you're going to do, because I think you're doing it now. You know, I think you're already walking in it. You know, and as you get, you know, as we get closer, as we get older, you know, I feel like it's just only going to get better, better, and better. You know, and so I think walking in it now is only proof of where you're going to be, because we're doing it now, and that's kind of how. You know, that's kind of like a trick question I like to ask people, you know, because it's either something they see, oh, I see myself married, have big house, big cars, big this, big, and it's like, okay, well, you missed the question, you know, there's much deeper than that, you know, and you answered it, you know, exactly the way I would have answered if I was your age. You know, if I knew what I knew and I was your age, I would be in that same boat, man, you know. So again, being 40, I have no regrets, man. I have nothing that I've didn't do or didn't say or didn't act upon. You know, I've learned to let that go, man, because I see myself walking in it now, you know, and it's only going to show to prove that my kids, as they are older, as they're getting older, they're finding their niche, they're finding their creativity, theirs, not mine, you know, not their mom's, but theirs. And so all we do is facilitate what they want to do. And it's so funny seeing that they're doing this. You know, they're actually wanting to do what we do. They're actually wanting to be a part of what we're doing, man. So essentially we have this family business, you know, so they know their future. They know what they want. So all they're doing is they're trying to be ready for the next thing, you know, train here, you know, and here, you know, so how they speak is how they live, man. How they live is how they're speaking. And so, for someone like you to be your age, dude, I love that. You know, I want to just keep bringing up age, because because I come from the background back in the day, man. I used to be a youth pastor. I used to connect with a lot of students, man. That. And, you know, I fell off, you know, according to terms, you know, backsliding, whatever, all that stuff, man. But I found a better way to connect with people, man. And it's intentional. It's relational. It's up close and personal, outside of walls. And I think that's kind of where my business has grown. That's where I feel like the podcast we have is starting to grow, man, because we're connecting intentional, purposeful, and in person, and on a relatable level. You know, it's not just something to put out for content's sake, for trending sakes, you know. And so I don't know, man, just that's the vibe I'm getting from you. I love so far what you are doing, man. I love everything about you, bro. And, you know, again, never met you in my life. I took a chance and DM'd you, took you up on your word. And
I appreciate it.
How many podcasts?
I'm happy you did.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. Same here. How many podcasts have you been on since you've made that video and that goal?
So I'll explain the whole reason I made the video too, is because with the new company, I have to put so much of my time from a content standpoint. Like, I'm really the marketing driving force of that. And so I'm like, okay, personal brand, I still have to maintain it. And so I was like, okay, what's one of the simplest ways to maintain it? If I get to go on podcasts, because then I show up, we shoot the content, and then we have the content for the personal brand. And then I can focus on the other company. And so I put out that video to then try to get podcasts. And so what we're doing is every single Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m., we're having a podcast and we're filming it, and that'll be our content, right?
Nice.
And so this is the first podcast I've done, but I've lined up the next 8 weeks to already have a podcast for every single week. And this leads me to my point. One of my favorite things that I've realized is I like to say TikTok is a magic genie. And because what you ask the app, you'll get. And so this is the third time I've used the magic genie thing. The first time I wanted to get clinics as clients for my agency. I was like, let me just throw that out there, see what happens. I got 2 of them. The second one was I wanted to hire someone for Google Ads and Google Tag Manager. So I literally just told TikTok, hey, I need someone who knows Google Ads, Google Tag Manager. Guy comes right into my inbox. Done. Then I'm like, okay, I need podcasts. Hey, TikTok, I want podcasts. Boom. All the time I'm getting inquiries for podcasts. And so this is why this app is so special, because it's discoverability at scale. Like there's never, as far as I know, there's never really been an app where it's discoverability at scale, because it's always about who you follow.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way to get more attention, is to get more followers. TikTok doesn't care about followers. That's the negative side, is that when you get followers, they don't really matter, because you can still get 3 million views or 5 views. The app doesn't care. But it's beautiful because it creates an even playing field, and it's consumer centric, because what do consumers care about? They want good content. They don't necessarily care who's delivering it. If their favorite YouTuber is delivering it, but the video sucks, they don't care. They just want to go to the app and have a good experience. And then if you look at the numbers of all the apps against each other, looking at TikTok's growth, it's now I don't know if YouTube's still beating it or if they just surpassed YouTube, but it may be the number one app in the world from monthly hours on it.
Wow.
And so when you look at all that data, it just proves out the model of TikTok is what the consumers prefer. And that's why Instagram, came out with Reels and is going to make Reels very prominent when they're going to build out 3 feeds. And the home feed is going to be a dynamic feed based on your interests. It's basically going to shift to a TikTok-like model. But I say all that to say, it's as a paid ads agency owner, it's now the first time that I'm looking at organic and being like, it's almost an equal driver to ads now. Mm-hmm. Before, ads just drove sales and organic was almost like the landing page before the landing page.
Yeah.
But now organic is just as much of a driver of sales, if not more, if you can be really smart and strategic with your content. And what we're doing now is actually, okay, how do we push out tons of content organically and then take the best performers organically and just use them as ads?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me, dude, that's a lot. I mean, you're right, because I like what you said. TikTok's like that genie, you ask and you shall receive, and here we are. If I'm the first one, then boom, baby, I'm good.
Let's go.
I'm honored, man. And again, that's where I feel like I wanted to talk to you, man. Again, taking you up on that, because this is only giving me another vision, another fire. I mean, just really just fanning the flame to go and actually start doing that, because I am old school too, man. I before I was like, likes, follows, all this interaction.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting away from that. Now it's like I want to actually utilize what you just said you did. I asked for this, I got to ask for this, I got to ask for this, and now look, here we are. And so again, it's not so much what how do I say? It's not so much what I can do for myself to put out on TikTok, but now it's actually like, what can the app do for me? How can we utilize that tool now? Because again, it's like, it's always, hey, post, and, but now it's like, now let me see what I can get from it, and that's I feel like that's another avenue a lot of people aren't, because you saying that, I've never heard anybody say that. I've never heard any content creator, because I follow a lot of people, and to be very specific on asking, it's like, and to actually get something out of it, now I know this is another thing we can grow from, man. It's something we
100%.
can start utilizing and stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if you have time or if you got to go, a few things, but is there anything that you feel like you want to talk about, cover, promote, something we may have missed, or a topic that you want to get on, man, before anything?
It was funny. What we were talking a lot about age on this podcast. And one thing I couldn't help but continue to think is like, we're so blessed to have the internet from an information standpoint. Like back, you know how they say like, you basically are your DNA and your environment.
Yeah.
Well, before the internet, you obviously had the TV, but that was almost still a curated environment. Now you have access to create environment. And I think one of the things that's helped me be successful is that I put my headphones in and I create my world. I create the world that I live in. And also then COVID on top of it, like forcing me to be indoors even more and just live in that world even more.
Yeah.
I'm able to have a mind that becomes expanded and have constant motivation every day. And if I need to have more of a calm vibe, put in like deep focus music or whatever I want, I can literally create the world I live in. And it's such a blessing. And I think a lot of people my age and around my age don't realize it, because it's pretty much been with us our whole life.
Yeah.
We don't understand that like our parents really went to the library and had to find a book and had to like find the page just to get one piece of information. Whereas now I could just go like, hey, Siri, XYZ, right? And it's done. And when you have that level of like information that is accessible to you, and also that level of environmental control to a certain extent, you can do so much more damage than previous generations could. And that's why I think like, it's like, the kids that are 10 years younger than me, when they're my age and I see them, I'm going to be like, man, like you're way smarter than I was at my age, just because this is only going to speed up. Right.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say, like, I think a lot of the times we're led to believe that like the internet is so bad and social media is so bad, but like, look what we're doing right now. Like we would have never been able to have an interaction and most likely if it wasn't for the internet, right?
For
if
us.
it wasn't for me putting out the video, you taking action, us booking a time, and then having the actual technology to be able to see each other, talk to each other, your setup just like 10, 15 years ago would have been like $1 million.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been possible, for the regular person. And so what we have right now is such a blessing, such a blessing. And I try to remind myself that every day, because I think it's constant like propaganda to a certain extent of like internet's bad, social media is bad, because truthfully, not to get too political, but I think, the government's not a huge fan of social media. The government's not a huge fan of, they can't control it like they could the radio, newspaper, television. It's, think about what's happening in Ukraine right now. Like we would have only been able to see what the television told us.
Yep.
We wouldn't have been able to see the people on the ground posting it on TikTok and giving us, the more, I won't say true necessarily, but just the more wide spectrum of opinions. Right.
Yeah.
And so once again, I think the internet and social media is so beautiful on so many levels. And I want to get that message across, because I think we're so used to hearing the opposite.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. You're so right, man. Because dude, it's so weird to say this, but I'm in the generation before internet. And because I remember going to a damn library, looking up the card. Dude, I know all that stuff, man. And when I first saw my first computer, my stepmom brought home, I was like, what is that? And it was a trip. It was a Dell, the old school Dell computers, man. And they had all the color coordinated, how to plug it in. And she got on the internet, and I heard that first noise. It was just, the link up was weird, man. And the tool that this is, because I grew up the same way like you, with the bad taste in the mouth, the internet's bad, the internet's this, but it can be so powerful. Like again, I had shot like a podcast the other day, but how the phone, a lot of people want to use the phone for their gain. A lot of people want to use it to record a fight or record an argument, put it out, man, or flip it around and be selfie and be selfish. And then, to me, it's like, if you don't know how to use that tool, man, that's all it's ever going to be, is what that stigma is, until you flip it and you flip the script on it, and like what we're doing, and bring a positive light to it, man. I feel like that's a win, man. And again, our followers and other people sharing and liking this, man, is what's going to only perpetuate what we feel this can be, and to keep putting that out, man. And because everything's so fast, internet's so fast. We can, like you said, we can see what's going on in Ukraine. Was it Vietnam War? They were shooting stuff, and they were, sending it across and all this. It's like, it'd take 3-4 weeks for us to see what's going on. And that part of that war is already done. We can see anything in an instant, like boom, now, so
seen on TikTok live.
Yeah. That's insane.
Like it's crazy.
I know me and my wife were talking about the same thing on like our setup here, and how, again, I didn't have none of this 5 years ago. I didn't have none of this 2 years ago, but it took a mindset to really say, I really want to be somewhere. I really want to get into production and events and promotion, and I need to invest, man. But again, I come from the news world. I've seen, the $200,000-$300,000 setup, the system, everything as far as camera gear. Then on a multi-million-dollar setup, it's like, how is this possible for an average dude like me? But then Blackmagic comes out with their A10 Mini Pro, and then it's like, oh, that's only like $500. Shoot, I can do that. And then we start investing, and then we start putting out content, man, and we start promoting, So all this, man, is at really, we limit ourselves, and so as much as what we're doing, I believe, like guys like me and you, entrepreneurs like me and you, man, we don't put limits on ourselves, because all we know is an opportunity, and we want opportunity, And
we've never, the way I'd sum it up is, we've never been more enabled.
Yeah.
Like sure, one of these days it may be even easier, but at this current moment, it's never been easier. I just like to always remind myself, you know what I mean? Like, if we went back decades, like, it's not easier to build your dream. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. But here, there's no excuse, because again, with the advent of YouTube, anybody and everyone can learn a trade. Anybody can go start something. Anybody can do something. Anybody can go on TikTok and find Hayden, Cashion, and learn some good stuff. Again, there's no excuse, man. Again, it depends on the person, the individual, how bad they want it. And, when they want it. I never want to be a guy that says, oh, you got to motivate, you got to achieve before you as bad as you want to breathe. No, man, just find your time, bro. I got you. I'll support you in the meantime, and if it's not for you, it's not for you,
100%.
But there's no excuse, so we can't blame others. We can just only blame ourselves for not taking advantage of the internet and, what's out there, And let me ask you this, man, because I know you're probably getting up on time. Do you feel like sometimes that all the information you're saying, because it's important, it's very it's very money-making information. Do you feel like sometimes you're giving out too much free information? No? Because the truth is, it's so funny. Like, this is why I never wanted to make a course where it was just like, I make a course like that are pre-recorded, go watch it, pay me the money, but go watch it. Because I understand that there's so much more to it than knowing the information, right? If everybody could be completely financially literate, all the information is on the internet. Yeah.
All the information is on the internet. But 99.9% aren't.
Yeah.
And it's because there has to be a seed inside of you of like motivation to become. And so I can tell you, like, the real truth is, if you want to accomplish anything in life right now, to the most part, 99% of things in life are accomplishable about putting out TikToks at volume, like 4 to 8 a day, if you really want to go there.
Yeah.
But how many people are actually going to put out 8 TikToks a day? I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes a certain level of like, I'm so, want this so bad.
Yeah.
And then also talent, right? Like, you have to be able to produce a TikTok that does well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to answer to all those comments. You have to be able to build the funnels on the back end. You have to be able to know how to just write all the copy in those funnels. You have to actually know how to structure a team that makes financial sense at the end of the day. Like, there's so much to it that just by telling you, hey, put out 8 TikToks a day, use these 3 hooks, like, that's the 0.01% of information. Like, it's almost like an iceberg, right? That's the tip.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing's like, and so for me, it's like, I understand 98% of people just won't even be motivated to make the move.
Yeah.
And then the 2% that are, there's so much more to it. And then actually the truth is the world's abundant. Like, for my agency to be viable, we don't need like thousands and thousands and thousands of clients. Like, you just need a handful of clients and you're making a beautiful living. And so I'm never worried that someone's gonna, or enough people are gonna, take all my business away. I think there's enough for everyone. Yeah. And especially the thing about the world is it's moving to a place of more businesses by like number standpoint, right? It's moving to a place of less big businesses and tons of small businesses that are very specific, right? Walmart isn't going to be killed by another company, a singular company.
Yeah.
But for instance, their chair department is going to be killed by 1,000 Shopify stores that each specialize in a specific type of chair.
Yeah.
They're all going to take a small piece of Walmart's market share. That then you do that across all categories. That's how Walmart's going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? And so I think once again, that just creates so many more businesses to service.
Man, dude, you're Puerto Rican right now. I'm about to take an offering for you right now, dude. You're on fire, bro. Dude,
having fun.
Dude, that's awesome. Cause you're right. Cause again, I've come from this, well, and this is more of a personal experience that, excuse me, that I have is, again, this is all personal, man. It's not like a business thing, man. But the way my business has started, the podcast, my production has grown, man. A lot of people hit me up like, hey, I want to pick your brain. It's like, bro, you haven't talked to me 5-10 years, man. All of a sudden you're interested in what I'm doing, It's like I stopped giving out free information. I started charging for consulting, But again, at some point, I told my wife the other day, I was like, I'm not worried about people doing what I'm doing. I'm not worried about people wanting to pick my brain, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's like, or like really how I believe too, is like, if it depends on the person behind all that, man, because anybody can replicate it. Anybody can, it's like I saw this quote from someone. It's like, hey, you can replace me with somebody and anybody, but can they do the job like me? Probably not, And I think that's what sets a lot of brands and people apart, that, anything and everyone's replaceable, man, but who you are as a person is what sets it off.
It's brand, right?
Brand.
It's exactly right. I say all the time, there's a million agencies that do great paid ads.
Yeah.
Right. But when you work with me, you get Hayden the human, right? And that doesn't mean from an intellectual standpoint. That just means like when we're in a meeting, you get my energy.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you like that or if you don't like that, that can be the differentiator, right? I always say, even to just regular companies, like, okay, your product has to be 10 out of 10 non-negotiable, like done. If your product's not 10 out of 10, you're already in trouble before you even started marketing. But assuming it's 10 out of 10, you're now in a category of like 5% of businesses in that space that all have 10 out of 10 products. What's going to make you different? And that's what you need to play on in your advertising, right? Is, okay, are you like this type of vibe? You know, are you more of like the surfer vibe company? And then on your website, like it's very like chilled out and like that's the energy that you go for. And all of a sudden, like you're 10 out of 10, like, you know, I don't know, bottle of water or whatever. It's built for people that want that cool, calm life. Like that's the brand you build around it. And that's how you actually compete with all the other 10 out of 10 products. And I think it's just like that, like in social media, right? You can go to another ads agency and you'll get phenomenal people. But if you want Hayden, from how I treat you, how, you know, I also have other leverage points, right? Like one thing I can do with my clients is like, hey, I'll make TikToks and I'll mention your company and I'll use you as examples. Right. Like there's other things that come along with the brand. And so I think like at the end of the day, you get the 10 out of 10 product, but then the question becomes, okay, what's going to now make us stand out against the other 10 out of 10 products? And that's where you dive into brand.
Bro, that is so dope. I mean, you're right. And we are our brand. We are our business. We are what we do, man. And, you know, and I love to be that person, man. Because, again, I'm setting a foundation and a legacy for my kids. My kids, me and my wife are. And so as they get older, even now, man, I have a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, my son's going to be 13 in May, man. And these kids are they're finding their brand, who they are, man, and what they want and who they can connect with. And man, to me, that's what's important. Because again, I can make money. I can go start businesses. I can get all these, you know, companies, man. But at the end of the day, man, if I'm not setting a foundation, man, to where I'm making a real impact on social media, on the internet, getting rid of that stigma, man, what am I really doing? And that's personal. I don't want to make people believe. I don't have no expectations. That's me. You know, if people follow suit, man, then that's a blessing. At least I know what I'm doing and what I've done is helpful and impactful, man. And so, dude, I just want to say, I know you probably got a lot of things to do. You're busy with your time, and I appreciate your time, man. To me, that's to be in Canada too. We Still Here podcast has a guest on from Canada, dude. I think we are worldwide now. You know,
let's go. We global.
Yeah, we're global. But one thing we like to do here, man, the way we end the show is we like a last thought, last word. Anything you want to say, man, that you want to encourage or put out there, even, you know, spotlight yourself, your business, your brand, your social media, because we'll have all that in info in the description and lower thirds popping up the whole time. And any last thoughts you want to add, say, or mention, man?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, it's never been easier to do whatever you want at any age. All the information's on the internet. All you need to do is go find it, create literally a work back schedule of these are all the things I need to do to accomplish it. And just start scheduling that time and actually executing. Like literally, that's the blueprint to do whatever you want in life. And like I said, with social media as the distribution, with the internet as the information, with the world's attention at your fingertips, it's never, ever been easier. Literally, you know, 99% of things that I have from a business standpoint, I've just been through that cell phone. And so I just want to encourage anyone to go out and do it. Okay. And it becomes easier over time. Once you pick momentum, I love to say this, momentum is real. As you start to build momentum, it snowballs, right? And so pushing that brick at first is difficult, but as soon as you start to pick up a little bit of a pace, it's real. And so that's what I want to end with is literally, it's never been easier to do whatever you want in life. And yeah, all my social media stuff will be linked in the comments.
Okay. Well, cool, man, dude. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for, dude, you know, me taking up, you know, your word on that and actually you following suit with your word, man. I'm a guy. Dude,
it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm a guy that's my word. And when people follow up with it, I love and respect that. For you to be like, hey, yeah, let's set it up. I was like, oh, shoot.
Let's go.
I told my wife, I was like, he actually responded back. So I was like, let's do it, you know? And so
I was pumped.
Yeah, dude, let's maybe, if you're down, man, let's plan a part 2. Maybe if you feel like you want to talk about something, if you got something going on, dude, I'll bring my other guy, the other host, Johnny Fisher, man. I know he he wanted to be here today, man, but he has his daughter's birthday, man. But bro, thank you
No
for
worries.
your time. Thank you for coming on, man. The information you gave out, man, was just straight golden, man, and straight just
my pleasure.
yeah, straight opportunity, man. And I wanted to say to you, man, just last words of encouragement to you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, set a standard, man, for you, for what you're doing, man, and let people see what you're doing and let them say, I want to do that. I want to be like that. And I feel like you are, man. And I think you're walking in what I guess essentially you're called to be, especially in life, business, the helping part of it, man. Because anybody can start something, make money. Anybody can start a business for them. But your whole goal is like, I just want to help people. When you want to help people, man, in return, man, whether you believe in karma, nature, life, God, man, I feel like eventually that'll come out 100-fold, and you'll what's that word I'm looking for? You'll yield the crops, the fruit of your labor, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's where you're at. You're on the right path, man. And I respect that. And dude, I really appreciate what you're doing. Keep it up, man. You got my support all the way over here in Fresno, California, son.
Man, I appreciate those words so much. Honestly, they mean a lot to me. On a daily basis, you can sometimes get bogged down in everything that's going on. But for you to say that means a lot, and for you to give me a platform to come and speak what I want to speak, I really appreciate it, and you to take the time out.
Yeah, man. I'm here for you, man. Anytime. You got my email, dude. If you're comfortable with it, I'll send you my number, bro. We'll make it more personable.
Yeah, let's do it.
Continue this relationship, brother, and we'll definitely stay connected, man. You got my support over here, okay?
I appreciate that. Let's. I'm gonna get an Instagram story on
Go ahead.
my IG. You ready?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Love it.
Cool.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna do a quick sign off, man. So you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, man. You guys give my man a follow. Give him a follow on Instagram, TikTok. Give him, show this guy some love, man. This guy's putting a lot of good information. If you guys are a content creator, media agency, man, you guys are looking for a standard of what to do, how to do, man, give this man a follow and subscribe, man. You guys tune in every Friday, 6 a.m. here at Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, man. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe, like, share all this great content, because we put out content that's intentional for you, for your personal life, your mental health, everything about you. And that's really what Still Here Podcast is for, is to bring on guys like this that can really relate to you and connect with you on a personal level, to challenge you to grow. And not only that, it keeps us challenged and growing every day. So you guys stay tuned. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Let's go. We still here.
Yeah.